can you give me tips for making amends? I crossed a boundary, acknowledged it was my fault. I tried to apologize, but I'm not sure how to regain his trust. This is a doozy, all right? And I really appreciate the question because I think a lot of people are going to need to hear this, but I don't know how much you're going to love my answer because ultimately, in the non traditional landscape, I'm not a huge proponent of second chances. Communication, trust, honesty, and those boundaries are paramount to making any of the non-traditional dynamics work. And if you can't have that, or if that trust is breached in any way, shape, or form, it can be really hard not only to salvage the dynamic between you and these partners, but for those partners to explore any other dynamics again. If now that one little pebble of fear is seeping into every interaction afterwards. And I've seen this happen a lot, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you know the boundaries ahead of time, respect them, and really communicate if you are ever unsure about whether or not you are getting close to a boundary or crossing it. Now, the biggest thing I think that you can do to show that you respect the fact that it was your fault and that you respect their boundaries and their relationship is sadly to probably walk away from this instance. There would be no bigger sign of respect for him and that dynamic than to gracefully bow out and say, I acknowledge I messed this up and I can't make it right. I am sorry. If at any point you guys ever want to explore this with me again, I would be really happy to try to regain that trust. But I don't want to force anything. I don't want to push you guys. And I think the best thing for me to do is respectfully bow out. I think that's the healthiest way to go about it, so that they can see that you truly acknowledge guilt, and learning from that mistake, and not trying to take advantage of just saying you're sorry and having an opportunity to do it again, because that's what's going to be at the back of their minds is what if this happens again? And unfortunately, I've seen one too many examples of when boundaries are crossed and second chances are given. I've seen too many times where that trust is broken again. And that is when relationships really start to falter. It's when people put a hard stop on being able to explore this with a partner because now it is speaking to all of their insecurities about the non-traditional, and impeding on their own trust and communication and healthy environment for their own relationship, let alone any additional relationships. So I'm really sorry this happened. It's big of you to want to make amends. I would encourage you to see if there's anything else that you can do, but at the end of the day, you probably need to walk away. And if it doesn't work out, everybody's learned a very valuable lesson, but you've at least done no further damage to him or his partner or their relationship. And hopefully that's the least of the damage done, right? And you now know moving forward into any other dynamic how important those boundaries are, how important it is to be clear on exactly what those boundaries are, how you can help support them within the dynamic, and what boundaries are really important to you too. So again, thanks for the question. I'm sorry if it's not the answer you wanted to hear, but hopefully it is the healthiest.